Hey everybody and welcome. Today is the 3rd of July, 2019. This is your Wednesday Team Prosperity training, and I'm so excited to be here with everybody today. It's a holiday week with Independence Day being tomorrow, and I really appreciate everybody's time today to be here on the training, as well as the people that are taking the time to listen to the recording. Mike has some special training in line for us today, and I'm really excited to see that. After he's done, we'll open up the floor for questions, comments, for everybody to share. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and grab him so we can see his great training. And give me just 1 second to do that. Thanks.
All right, you guys, July 3rd, tomorrow is 4th of July holiday. A lot of people have checked out both physically and mentally. We have a low attendance here today. That's to be expected, not only in the summertime, but around these holidays as well. I almost didn't have a meeting today, but we want to continue on the rhythm of activity to make sure we keep good habits going. So let's hop into this. Won't keep you guys too long. July 4th is tomorrow. You know, our team emblem is the statue, freedom, team prosperity. This is all what we're working for, and no matter what type of freedom it is, there's always a price to be paid for that. So remember, your freedom in this business, lifestyle, time freedom, can come immediately. Financial freedom, you've got to work for it. The three of those things together create a very nice lifestyle for you. One of the things that you want to make sure your partners are doing, and a lot of people get the recordings of these, is if you're building an organization, your partner has to know why they're doing it. To get up every day and to do the things that we do on a daily basis, some days can feel like a real grind, especially in the beginning stages of building this out. So why are you doing this? What do you want out of it? What are you willing to give up? That's part of the CRM under the vision board, is why I'm doing this. When I came in a few years ago, I saw an opportunity to take a very big industry, stale industry, and disrupt it. That puts a lot of market share and money on the move. That creates an opportunity for me to create wealth and do some things with it that I choose to. One of the first things that you want to do as a manager building an organization is make sure that your partners have command over simple technology. We throw a lot at them in the beginning. We understand it can be a little bit overwhelming. Just take it piece by piece. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that we can set up a screen share and make sure that we can initiate a three-way call. Now, for somebody that's been in for a while, this seems simple, and it seems like that everybody should be able to do it immediately. Not everybody's going to be able to do it immediately. So you need to take the time to practice with your partner. So the first time they have a prospect for a potential partner, a client, and this needs to happen, it's not a debacle. Because if we don't have command over simple technology, it doesn't bode well for our image as a technology company. So screen share, three-way call is a must in the very beginning. Also realize, guys, as your partners come in, this tier 6 right here is the launch of the business. So what's going to come out of that? I have no idea. Could be a partner, could be a client. Who knows what could come out of it? Could be nothing. But ultimately, what we're asking the partners to do is to launch their business by putting in people they know, they have a relationship with in the CRM. At a base level, it teaches them CRM, Tier 1 contact, how to put in notes, Tier 1 confirm, how to do the things that we need to do. So it's a base level of knowledge of the CRM, and it's starting to understand their role in this entire circle, which is the Tier 1 contact to confirm in the very beginning. So it's a prerequisite that leads to the Tier 6 training to have 20 names in there. Manager's responsibility is to work with the new partner, follow up, make sure those names are in there. Like I said, I have no idea what's going to come out of it. Could be nothing. But the process of putting names in there, contacting, putting notes in, adding managers teaches the CRM. So it is definitely a must. That's how we launch the business. Also remember our tier language, the Tier 1 contact. It doesn't matter what's happening, social media, warm market, cold market, it doesn't matter how it comes, text, email, social media message, landing page. The contact is the front door of your business. And then as you're getting in front of potential prospects, clients, or partners, The confirmation calls to make sure they've been exposed to business or product opportunity or product-based videos to make sure they have the lead in. Now, the Tier 1 ABC on a partner potential, that's after they watch the videos. And really, that's nothing more than an interview process where we try to find out from our side as well as their side where they fit into our business. Could be a partner, could be a client, could be neither. And, of course, we've got the pivot. If it's not a qualified partner and it makes sense, we can try to help them on the client side. If it's a partner and if they go through the ABC interview and we have interest in them, but their interest in our business is not high enough to where we want to bring them in, there's some additional information, VIP demo. Doug Jones has a compensation video. One or both of those is okay. The Tier 1 commit call, guys, is not a very long call. You know, you've seen videos, you've been through the interview process, we approved you, we sent some additional information. What do you want to do from here? And the rest of the stuff, the Tier 2 admin appointment, the Tier 3, which is either a partner F&A training or a client F&A, the Tier 4, intro to the CRM, Tier 5 is a presentation report, making any recommendations to the new partner or to the client, and the Tier 6 is the launch of your business. So along with screen share, along with three-way call, along with this basic stuff, you want to have an overall view of the circle in terms of what each step is and realize all you've got to do in the very beginning is to contact and confirm. Make sure your partners are not overwhelmed by what they have to do because it's very basic in the beginning. They get a lot of help. So Tier 1 contact confirm sets up what we need to do to help them. Also, guys, one of the things that we have to make sure we understand as a group and as you start to build organizations that are separate from us is that phase one. That phase one is a training sale. It does three things. Number one, it attempts to get the headhunter, recruiter, the inviter, whatever you want to call that person, paid for their efforts. Number two, it allows the new partner to pick a track to build their business on. Number three, it creates leverage. Remember, if I give a sale away and then theoretically I have it for an unlimited amount of time as I build my business, that creates leverage. What we also need to understand is that it is not only the partner's choice on what they want to do, but it also has to be within the parameters of what makes sense. So we have a three-pronged checklist, litmus test, whatever it is you want to call it. Has to be suitable for the person, has to make sense. They have to be able to afford it. It's what the F&A helps us do, train them on that process, but also discover if there's any needs and if there's any positive cash flow to put to work. And the third thing is they got to be able to medically qualify. If it doesn't pass any one of those three-pronged tests, it's not going to be a personal policy, and we'll have to go outside in the referral market. Now, one of the things that helps the consultant is as you're training, the consultant training the partner on the 3 and the 5, if there's no personal policy that comes out of that for the exchange, then any referral business to take care of that exchange should go to that exact consultant. We want to make sure the consultant gets paid for his or her time. And that's really, guys, you're going to understand. It's very, very simple. If you follow the steps and you follow the CRM, it's very easy to make sure that everybody understands what's going on. As people are putting notes in, you can see right here, coming out of the Tier 3, only thing the consultant does is outside of the normal notes they put in, is just put in a little blurb so the manager knows. Is there going to be possibility for personal suitability? Based on the data that was gathered on the front end, do you think there's going to be possibility for personal sales? If so, then what the manager is going to do in the Tier 4, outside of taking care of what he or she needs to do, setting up the CRM, explaining it, there's also going to be a couple questions asked every single time on the Tier 4. Which track does the new partner pick, and are they going to use a personal policy to take care of it? That way, when the consultant comes back from the Tier 5, they've read the notes and they know exactly what to do. Okay, I'm going to try to help this new partner with an option and try to close a sale to help them with their phase 1 exchange. Or if there's not going to be a phase 1 exchange, you're still going through the report, still kind of pointing out things, recommendations, but now the conversation is going to be flipped more back to the manager for the referrals, and the referrals will then get kicked back to the consultant. So we always want to make sure we try to get our consultants paid no matter what's going on. And so we want to make sure we take care of them, and the referral business goes back to them for the time they spent on the 3 and the 5 with the partner. Really, guys, one of the things that you need to understand, your partners need to understand as they come in, is SVP is the first real big metric of growth. So if you're an agency manager, VP contract, whatever it might be, you should constantly be thinking about, how do I get to the next step? How do I get to SVP? How do I build my office, manage my office, and use that office to get people into a position where they're able to go out and do this on their own? I'm constantly thinking about how to make my business better. How do I get to the point where this thing really blows up and goes viral? That exponential growth, we're going to get there. But you should always, if you're serious about this business, your future in this business, and what it can create for you, always looking for ways to improve, get better, know your numbers, and just continue to expand mentally, expand with your activity, expand with your accountability, and just learn how to become a better marketer, manager, and a consultant if you choose to do that. Also, top 10 keys right here. I mean, if you guys look at this, I mean, the top 10 keys right here: personal commissions, we always know about that. Split sales with consultants, you know about the assembly line. We pay the marketer and inviter pretty well. The agency income, as you're building your base shop or office, and then as you eventually run that as a senior vice president, the managerial spreads are open to you. Then you've got the franchise or distribution override. You've got the gross payout to the field at 126. Once again, you have to come in and earn that, but you've got advanced commission, 40% on the front end of the submission of that policy. That's big. As you have people coming in, that helps speeds up cash flow for them. You've got renewal commissions. A lot of these agency building models pay absolutely no renewals. You've got personal sales and overrides for the cold states. And then the cold states, you do not need the license to override. And then number 9, it changes. At the time this was made, there was 13 hot states. So you'll need to understand, what states do I need my license for to override? What states do I not? And then persistency and chargebacks. All the time, your consultants, as well as everybody in your organization, should be looking out for the best interest of A, the partner, or B, the client. If you do good business, if you write up things that actually make sense for people within their budgets, it's going to stick. If you tend to, put in an obligation that's more than they can handle on a monthly basis, or not give them things that make sense, you're going to have a lot of business fall out, and that gets frustrating. There's nothing worse than taking losses on a piece of business that you wrote 4 or 5 months ago because it falls off. So yes, you're going to have some fall off from the natural order of progression. People lose jobs, whatever it might be. But if you're writing solid business, your persistency should be pretty high and your chargeback should be pretty low. And then if you teach other people how to do that, you won't have like implosions of a base shop. Very, very important. Always do right by the person you're talking to. Another thing we're going to are setting up again as another 12-week year. We're coming up on the 12th week this year, or this week. So on Saturday, we'll recap this 12-week period. Take 1 to 2 weeks off. That allows new people to read the book, old people to reread the book, and get us back into a new 12-week year. WAM groups are very, very beneficial. It's nice to be around people who are working on this business, to hear what they're doing, what they're frustrated with, what's working, what they know they need to work on. It's definitely a benefit group to be in, and I think that if you guys commit to something like this, only good things will happen. Out of week 11, I'm not going to go through all this, but sales jobs is coming to an end. We're trying to create more inbound marketing. So if you guys are using it, try to extract whatever value you can, pull whatever you need off the site, because it will be coming to an end in the next few weeks. We've been heavy on the LinkedIn helper, tutorials, assistance, one-on-one. It's going to take a manual concept of pulling, inviting, messaging, that whole grunt work we used to do, and it's going to automate that, which is really nice. But not only is it going to automate it, but it's going to put a more personal touch on it, which is really, really nice. David Colwell in our week 11 said, and he's a part-timer, it's going to free up 7 hours per week, what he used to invest in LinkedIn versus what he's got to do with the helper now. 7 hours a week on full-time, it's very meaningful. On part-time, it is a big, big, big deal. So we're always trying to automate. We're always trying to put things into place, tools that can free up time, and that time can be invested somewhere else, and it just helps your business build bigger, quicker, faster, more efficient. Stick to your partner and client persona. If you don't have one, over time you'll develop them. But what I find is if I break those personas, it tends to not work out. When I stay within my personas, I have a much higher chance of success for both me and the partner or me and the client. We're still in the early stages of this company. You've got to put the human element as far as the last piece of the infrastructure in place, have it running smoothly. Because if you have hyper exponential growth, you have no management or leadership to absorb that, it's going to fall apart. You're still a talent scout for what will be $1 billion+ company. Do your job well, get richly rewarded. You can only BS your way through something for so long. You've got to get better at stuff, especially as you start to progress in the company. More people are going to be counting on you for direction, leadership, guidance. You've got to learn things. When you really learn something, Demetra pointed this out, things start to slow down. He references it being an athlete, the court, the field, everything starts to slow down. You're able to read situations much easier. In the beginning of learning anything, especially social media platforms, tools, it can feel overwhelming. But what you're going to find is a few weeks into it, you've learned it and you're on to the next thing. Next thing is when somebody asks a question, we talked about this, whether it's a partner or a client, ask a question in return to understand better why they're asking it, their frame of reference, and so that you can respond back in a meaningful way. Set up expectations from everyone you encounter, partners, clients, leads. If I do X, can you do Y? Meaning if I'm going to do this, are you on the other side going to reciprocate and hold up to your obligation? Put yourself in other people's place to better understand how to set up expectations and how to keep control. And finally, we talked about this just a minute ago. When the 12-week year is over, we take a small break. Reread the book if you're coming back. Read the book if you never have and you want to join us. The more that you extract each time, the little things, the easier it will become to get to your goals. And, we are welcoming anybody the next time around who wants to join in. Now, if this is going to be your first time around, one of your main goals should just be to finish it. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, get in here, learn how to basically extract more out of the day, how to get more done than other people do in a year, in a quarter. So this is going to be something we'll open it back up on the Facebook group as well as the email strings. And if you guys want to join us, more than glad to have you on board. If your partners come in and maybe they're in between the 12-week year or they decide not to do it, doesn't mean that they can't participate in some type of their own challenge. And I would say when you're coming in, do a 30-day challenge. And the reason is because the quicker you get into the habit of having activity, having things on your calendar, having follow-up tasks, the easier it's going to be to get more involved with this company. Little to nothing in the CRM, little to no activities, nothing on the calendar, doubt starts to creep in, resistance starts to creep in, and then you start to drift. And if somebody drifts too far, they're gone. So it's all about just not necessarily cash flow metrics in the beginning, but activity metrics. How are things going? What are you learning? What are you doing? And is things making sense in terms of putting you into a habit every day of working on this business? No matter if you're brand new, you've been here a while, we're all wired to procrastinate. We talk about that in the F&A presentations to the clients. We always talk about that to the partners as well. Procrastination is a lot of fun. It's got an immediate gratification. I don't have to deal with this now. I don't have to do this now. But it's a lot like a credit card. It's a lot of fun until you get the bill. Same thing here. If you don't do something over a period of time as a client, your retirement's screwed. If you don't do something over a period of time in this business, you're not going to get the results. You're not going to be interested in going further or doing anything, in the future for your business. If you're using email marketing campaigns, what you want to understand is that look at the emails that you get every day. Go to your spam folder, go to your inbox, and just glance through those. What would make you open an email? If you didn't know who the recipient was, or you have very little knowledge about who the recipient is, what's going to make you open that email? It's really the subject line. So no matter if a partner or a client, if you're doing email marketing campaigns, keep it short, make it interesting, and try to drive traffic through a landing page, a website, a funnel, something that you've created. And what you want to do is make sure that you understand and study how to get people interested enough to click on that email. That's half the battle. And really it's going to be teaser information and something that's quick, to the point, and makes them kind of curious about what is this all about. We're a technology company, guys. The more that you can embrace technology, the more you can embrace these social media platforms, the more you can embrace these tools for automation, easier it's going to be for you to build a business, and also build a business that attracts other talent, because just having the infrastructure that we have and continue to do things like every other agency building model out there does is not going to work for attracting top talent. What you need to do is put things into place that when you talk to people and you have things to offer from a company level, team level, individual level, people appreciate value. And when you can bring value to the table, you're going to start attracting more top talent, and that top talent can open veins of more top talent for you. So don't be shy about learning new things. Don't be shy about failing, and don't be shy about putting yourself out there. In the very beginning of the .com, in the late 90s, it was really impossible to value these companies in terms of normal metrics like revenue, profit. So they were evaluated on traffic to the site. What you need to understand in this model is look at your company, your business in the beginning stages the same way. You want to learn how to drive traffic to assets, and that is landing pages, funnels, websites, whatever it might be. If you learn how to drive traffic, open conversations, aka tier 1 contact, everything else will take care of itself. If you've got little to no traffic coming from email marketing campaigns, social media, funnels, landing pages, websites, it's going to be hard for you to open enough conversations to find the right people. If you only have a few leads per month, you're going to value those leads so much, it's going to become a daunting task, and you're going to feel nervous about trying to resolve it because you have no other leads. When you have a lot of leads coming in, you're just resolving it to get rid of them to slim down your CRM, and that confidence factor comes out. If you're talking to somebody and you've got a few leads, they're going to be able to feel that. It's almost like you're begging them to do something. When you got a lot of leads, you got no time to deal with these people, and you're directing them what to do. They're either going to fall in line or they're not. Social media is one of the big keys to this business. And the more you understand that, the more easier it becomes to, build a blueprint, develop a game plan that's going to get you in front of the right people. It's all about the learning curve. If you're the kind of person that gets frustrated because you don't learn something immediately, you're going to struggle in this environment. Sometimes it takes a number of times, whether it's watching a video, trying to implement something, trying to get the right link into a place where it makes sense. If you're the kind of person who's just going to give up, you're going to struggle. You have to have the attitude that everything requires some amount of time to learn it, whether it's a new hobby, a new language, a new sport, it doesn't matter. You're not going to go in on day one and just have all this nailed. I watch YouTube a lot, whether it's repairing stuff inside my house or whether it's building this business. It's a great video library to go. You can learn. If you're learning stuff that requires practical application, my suggestion is to start, stop, apply, and pick up on the play. If you're marketing organically, and you obviously need to understand your business is going to build slower than if you market with a budget for client, partner, whatever it might be. If you're running budgets, or running marketing, you need to understand and keep track. You cannot blindly throw money at this like a slot machine and expect something to happen in return. You need to learn how to do stuff, and then you need to test it with small amounts of money to get your key performance indicators, your metrics in line, where now you can scale that, know what's working, what's not working, very quickly get rid of the stuff that's not working, stuff that is working, continue to pump it, ROI, cost of acquisition, all of these things are very, very important. You need to understand your numbers. It becomes easier for you to build a business and you to teach other people how to build a business. And once again, you have value that you can bring to the table. You're going to attract more talent. We're always want to make a special concentration on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is our go-to site. Now, you can both sell product on this site as well as use it for recruiting and headhunting. So it is a split site. And depending on what you want to do, if you're using, for example, LinkedIn Helper, if I'm building a list, for example, of people I want to connect with for the purpose of possible business opportunity, if I name it entrepreneur, insurance agent, business development, whatever it might be, that's great. Now, if you are going to be concentrating using LinkedIn for both also product sales, then you need to understand the more specific you can build a list, the easier it's going to be to talk to that person. So if you have a list of attorneys, doctors, all of these different types of people that you can build marketing presentations that speaks directly to them, becomes a lot easier to target that type of person with a specific message that makes sense. So on the business opportunity, be more general in your list. If you're consulting, dealing with clients, the more specific, the better, and we can build marketing campaigns for those people. LinkedIn Helper, we've been talking about this. I've helped some of you guys one-on-one. We've released 3 videos now, and essentially what we've done is the 3 big steps of LinkedIn Helper, which number 1, collect, select, and invite second and third contacts. That's adding to a list, setting up a new list with the appropriate keyword that matches the list. You're collecting profiles. Now, one of the things that I do that I think can help you guys so you don't have to do this daily, if I have an entrepreneur list and I set up my entrepreneur keyword in LinkedIn and I'm collecting those, I'll let it run for a while. I'll collect 600, 700, 800 profiles, so I don't have to go back and collect, profiles again to the entrepreneur list for a number of days. That way, all I'm doing on step 1 basically every day is I'm inviting. I'm sending those personal invite messages, and then after people connect back with me, we've got a thank you message right here. And that's just simply thanks for the connection. Let me know if you have any questions about who I am, what I do, need an introduction to anybody in my network, need anything at all, just ask me. And then finally, we do the first connections. Now, the first connection strings, it's going to take a little while for you guys to get used to, but once it clicks in terms of how it works, it just becomes very easy to constantly have people in cycles of communication, and that's going to build pipelines where you can start to have things pop up on your calendars, whether it be client, whether it be business partners. The more automated you can make this, including funnels that you build, the easier it's going to be for you to take LinkedIn up to 90% automation, and the rest of the 10% is just activity and direct engagement, whether it be messages or activity. So the first connections, you can use existing lists, or you could set up a broadcast and pull people from either your first connections, or you can pull up a group and pull those members. So there's endless possibilities here, but if these are the 3 steps: collect, select, and invite, thank you message, and then set up your sequential messages. The sequential messages, once you understand how this works, it's going to make sense to you, but all you're doing is you are setting up a source. Where are you pulling these people from? And you can see what I did. I pulled up messages to recently added connections. I wanted to take people that have received a personal invite, come into my network, and received a thank you message. I want to take them to the next step. So recently added connection message. My list was entrepreneur. And you can see that when you process these, I've got 227 that have received thank you messages. And now over here is the target. Where do I want to send these people? Well, now I want to send them to my value-based 1 message. That's what I pull up on this side. And when you hit this green button, it's going to take the process recipients over to the recipient's queue. That means now there's 218 people that are in line to receive this message. Now you can see from the last time I did this, it excluded 6 people. There was 227. That means 6 of these people have already received this message. So LinkedIn Helper will never duplicate. It'll always make sure to exclude people that have already received that message. Now, the next time around, maybe the source will be this message right here. Let me go back to this. Maybe next time the source will be my target, and it'll be, helper, entrepreneur value 1, and I'll send them over now to a new target, which will be a business funnel, product funnel, something like this. So this takes a little bit more getting used to, but once you do get used to it, it becomes very, very easy to use, and then you've just got constant cycles of past communication that are going on that LinkedIn Helper is doing for you. And all that we're trying to do with this whole process, other than take the manual grunt work out of it, is build the bottom of this pyramid, which is rapport, trust, and credibility. So by the time somebody hears from me about business or product, they've received 3 or 4 different messages: personal invite, thank you, value-based 1, maybe value-based 2. So they feel like even though we haven't spoken, they've got a familiarity with me. They feel like they know me. I haven't really jumped into spamming them from the very start about a business opportunity. It's going to work better for us in developing better conversations that lead to better outcomes for us. And recommendations, if you're building all this stuff, automation tools, and you're trying to drive traffic back in order to build your network, engage your network, ultimately they're going to see your profile. One of the ways that you guys can really beef up your profile and stand apart from other people is by getting recommendations. As we build this business, you guys already have partners you're working with, upline you're working with. Ask for a recommendation. You have 8, 9, 10 recommendations on there, profile is going to pop out. So recommendations is definitely a free way that we can all take advantage of helping each other beef up our LinkedIn profile. And one of the things that you really, really, really have to understand is in the open marketplace, it's really about a story. What is your story? And what you have to understand is it's going to be easier for you to market and talk to people if you connect the narrative. Why are you in this company? Because if you're talking to me about a business opportunity and you're explaining why you're in this company, helps me understand your point of view a little bit better. And you're going to attract like-minded people. So build a narrative, tell a story. Why are you here? Help people understand. That comes right back to the partner persona. Once you understand who you are, why you're here, what you hope to accomplish, it's easier to start going out and identifying people. And I've brought this up several times. I want to make sure you guys understand partner persona, client persona. It becomes easier when you know who you're looking for to identify these people, find these people, and talk to these people in a way that's going to make sense. So understand their background, their identifiers, some of their goals, some of the challenges they face, demographics that you're looking for, how they spend their time online. If it's a business partner, they need to at least have interest in online business, online marketing, social media. And then interest, what do they like to do? When you develop solid personas, all of a sudden business becomes a lot easier to build on the partner side and produce on the client side. And then it just leads down, can you hold an intelligent, influential conversation about virtual financial? In the very beginning, probably not. But as you go forward and you develop that language and verbiage and you develop that narrative about why you're here, it becomes easier to hold the conversations. And conversations are the end point. The digital marketing, social media, email marketing campaign, whatever you're doing, that all leads down to conversations. And conversations is really the make or break as you start to build funnels and you develop, these sessions that you're scheduling people for business partners or products. You really got to nail those sessions. You're looking for people who want to build an online business. You're looking for people who appreciate the environment that we're in, appreciate the opportunities those environments have afforded us. And if they want to build an online business and take advantage of this environment, what's better to do than to build an online business in one of the largest industries in the world with all the infrastructure laid out with you, including, partnerships that lead up to one of the 9 financial giants in the world. So this is a huge opportunity for the right people. If it's not the right person, you're not trying to fit them or convince them why they need to take advantage of this. You're just looking for the people who already understand and want to be a part of it. And that really comes back to time. This is not a heavy investment. It's very, very little. It's dinner and drinks out basically to come in this business. What it does require is grit, sweat equity. It does require a time investment. And if you understand the value of time, and when time's invested into the right place for the right amount of time to let it compound, special things can happen. Time is your most valuable investment. People that understand that, how am I going to invest my time? This is a really, really, really good opportunity because it does take them wherever they are, whether it's the employee trading time for money, whether it's the self-employed having a practice, book a business, producer, whatever it might be, and it helps transfer them, over time into the right-hand side of the cash flow quadrant. Business ownership, you own a system, you own distribution, and with the lack of fixed and variable costs or expenses in our model, that cash flow fuels a lot of investment. So, of course, we all understand the cash flow quadrant. It's an important piece of our business model, but you also have to understand there's also a quadrant of people that you're going to talk to, and you have to understand the right people versus the wrong people and read and profile them pretty quickly to get out or to get the people that don't fit into what you're looking for out quickly so you can spend more time with the people that do fit in. And those people, that quadrant is basically divided up into the R, which is right. These people are always right. They know everything. You cannot teach somebody anything if they already know everything. Those people will not make it in this company or this environment. You also have the people that are comfortable. Comfortable, we should put in quotations, because some people, what they think is comfortable is actually miserable. They've just become comfortable with being miserable. So somebody who's unwilling to change, if they want to go out and regress in a corner and just hide from the world, this is not a good environment or an opportunity for them. Also, the next type of person is the person who needs to be liked. If you're going to put out there advertisements, articles, thoughts, all of these things can get, from the other side, can get both positive and negative comments. Dealing with partners, you're going to have good days, bad days. Partners are going to be upset sometimes. If you're the person that always has to be liked, you're going to struggle in this environment. You're going to struggle in this company. I'm not saying that you have to be an a-hole. I'm just saying that sometimes you have to give people pieces of advice, and you have to talk to people in a way that's going to ultimately help them, but it's going to be constructive criticism. If you cannot do that, if you're not in a position to be able to do that, you're going to struggle in management positions. And the final person is a person who just wants to win. They understand they were, created for greatness. If they found it in the past and lost it, or they never had it, this is a great opportunity. If you're willing to put what you need to in this business, over time, you're definitely going to win. I look for people who just want to win. I don't care where they are in their life right now. I care for a specific mindset, vision, and the ability to go forward and take that mindset and vision and transfer it into activity, accountability, leadership, entrepreneurial development. We've got exponential game changers, and this is just food for thought, tools in your tools in your tool belt, whatever it is you want to call it. Got a huge social media revolution we can take advantage of. Our market expands instantly to the entire nation. You've got a lot of people that would not be interested in financial services or insurance, but they are interested in a home-based business opportunity. And when they see there's non-sales roles, it just opens the gates wider as to who can come in. You got the assembly line. You got a blueprint circle of success. You've got marketing systems, landing pages. You've got company-specific assets that get instantly. You got an enterprise-level CRM that ties it together. You've got aggressive follow-up tools, strategies, systems for quick resolution. You've got, all of this 3D environment. You've got premier business platform. You've got none of the stuff that normally sucks with running a business, like running an office, having to have expenses for workman's comp, unemployment tax, minimum. All of these things, as an entrepreneur, if I'm running a practice on my own, I have to juggle all this stuff. It's instantly taken care of for us. And then the lifestyle, freedom, travel, all of these things. These are things that you should understand, but you don't want to throw up on people. So this is stuff that you want to understand and make sure that you comprehend and can use when appropriate, but you don't want to get in front of people and start giving them all this. What you want to understand is our business opportunity or our products solve problems for people. Understand the problems, offer solutions, and watch your conversations get a lot better. Remember, we have 4 streams of income here. You need to understand there's personal income opportunities. If I was a producer, that's basically where it stops. Here, you've got agency income, expansion income, bonus income. You've got 4 streams of revenue and income that can be produced from this one opportunity. So understand what each means, how we make it, and how we progress from one stream to the next to ultimately build out all 4. And understand, guys, when you're talking to people, the IMO that we piggyback off of is the largest in the country. So you're not worried about, am I going to get paid? Can the company handle some chargebacks? What's going to happen is, because if all of these are some other IMOs, this is the size of our IMOs. So the ability to absorb the growth that we have now and in the future is definitely in place with all types of infrastructure, even accounting infrastructure that's prepared to pay out $4 billion in the next coming years. Also, you need to understand for yourself and for the right business partners, people will be attracted to, when I look at a business, what's the point of resistance for scalability of that business? Well, a lot of times you need a lot of inventory, you need infrastructure, you need additional capital. Here, your point of resistance for scalability is just finding the right people, putting them in the right places, offering the right tools, training, support. So you're never going to get to a point where you run out of money, you don't have the inventory. Your business is very scalable and scalable on a very, very large platform in terms of the ability to go out, build nationwide distribution, build financial services agencies coast to coast, and have those running for the next years and years to come. If I was investing in a 401k, I've got to put the money in. If I wasn't contributing to the 401k and then 6 months later I come back and I get upset there's zero in my 401k, well, that sounds absurd to us. Same thing happens here. You've got to invest the time. If your business partner is not investing the time and they come back 30, 60, 90, 120 days plus, they've had little to no results, well, what are they doing? If they haven't done anything, how in the world can you expect something to happen? This isn't a business where you come in and sign up and start getting direct deposits. There's no business that works like that. You're going to have to put time, energy, resources into this. And realistically, guys, it comes down to only understanding two things: what my market is and what my message is. The easier that you understand people and how to approach those people with messages that make sense to them, easier it's going to be for you to open conversations and have those conversations streamline back down to outcomes, business partners, products, etc. Tier 1 is the key to your business, and we talk about that. There's no specific outline for Tier 1. Tier 1 is just the contact. Social media, warm market, cold market, text, email, call, social media message, landing page, website, it doesn't matter. Tier 1 is to understand that, open those doors wide, let people know you're in business. On the other hand, make sure you're letting in the right people into your business. In the automation, everything that we do is trying to free us up for income-producing activities. So the less that we have to do the manual connections, the manual messages, and that frees up time for us. We want to invest that time into better activities, income-producing activities. Remember, what's going to motivate your new partners more than anything is money. The quicker that you get them off to making money, the longer they're going to stay, the bigger they're going to build businesses, and the more interested they're going to be in outside marketing to bring in additional partners, additional clients. You have to have a follow-up system. No matter if you're in sales, no matter if you're in recruiting, does not matter. Most leads are not going to be resolved instantly. If they do, great. The quicker you get to a lead after you create it, the better. We talked about that. But overall, you need a follow-up system. And that's going to be, communication schedules, voicemails, emails, text, social media messages. Resolve the lead. We're not resolving the lead for the purpose of pushing people into certain places. We're resolving the lead so we can move on, and we don't have a CRM that gets backed up with so much that we become overwhelmed and we just don't even know where to start. Add value to your approach by being interesting and engaging. That's an important part of the follow-up, and that goes back to what we're talking about. Email messages, half the battle is the subject line. If you're leaving voicemails, text messages, social media messages, half the battle is, what's your message? Does it make sense? Is it interesting? Is it engaging? Does it prompt the other side to come back with a response? I look at my business in three ways. I've got my calendar. That's definitely stuff that I have to do every day. It's concrete appointments that are on there. Outside of the calendar, you have your task. You have your daily task, which is everything that's earmarked for today. Or if you haven't gotten around to something that's previous to today, it's going to be in your unfinished task. So you've got your calendar, you've got your task, and then I've also got a to-do list. This is things I want to get done. If I'm working on funnels, if I'm working on understanding how to build a Facebook business page, if whatever I'm doing, that's my to-do list. So calendar, task, to-do list should get you in a nice rhythm of activity of not only handling the things that you need to do, but also progressing in terms of building new stuff, learning new things, and applying new knowledge. We've talked about this several times. Understanding the generations is very, very important to market. You can't throw out blanketed marketing that goes to baby boomers, Gen X, and millennials and expect it to have some type of an effect on all three of these. They were all born during different generations. They all see the world through a different kind of vision, and they're all dealing with different types of problems. So the better you get targeting audiences, messaging those to engage with those people, and really talk to those people in a meaningful way that leads to positive outcomes for both sides. We're going to talk for a minute today about the millennial generation. We always think of the millennial generation as a young generation, but they're starting to grow up. And you can see Wall Street is starting to wake up to a $35 trillion opportunity here. So who are the millennials? You know, how do they see the world? What problems are they dealing with? And how can I get in front of them in a meaningful way that's going to be a mutually beneficial relationship, whether that's an upfront conversation, business partner, client-based relationship, whatever it might be. Know who you're talking to, whether it's either side of the business. So on the millennial side, if we concentrate on them today, what does your product or business do? What does it solve? Now, I'm not talking about what does living benefits do, what does our business do in terms of the inner mechanics describing it, but what does it do for the other person? And that's really what you want to do, is you want to place yourself in the other person's shoes and try to evaluate from their side, you know, what does their life look like? What are they looking for? What do they need help? What's going to be best for them in terms of me getting in front of them with a message? And when you look at that, time, you know, how long is it going to take? I was reading an article the other day where most of the millennials still feel that they're going to be a millionaire, even though most of them are not on track to even have as good of a financial outlook as their parents do, which is pretty sad. So what is it they want to do? If it's put $1 million in the bank, how long is that going to take? And then also, if you're a millennial or you're talking to a millennial, you have to understand the future tax rate environment in this country is going to be dramatically higher. So a qualified plan versus a tax-free plan, there's a lot of difference. People neglect to understand the impact of taxes. So the tax environment and their tax status are big factors. Do they want to give away 50% of their money in the future? Probably not. You can help them. And then finally, the market risk. So, you know, most of them have grown up and they've seen, you know, are they aware of 9/11, you know, which was right after the NASDAQ bubble burst, what that did to the markets, what the 2008, 2009 mortgage collapse did to the markets. So the impact of market losses in terms of time and percentage. So if you are taking losses in the marketplace, guess what? Now that time extends out a whole lot further than if you can shield yourself from market. So no matter who you're talking to on the client side, these are general things, time, taxes, and market risk. We just want to apply this to the generation that we're talking to, the millennials. So taxes are going to be a big issue for them going forward. They need to understand that. You can pull up the debt clock. There's a lot of things that you can do, but understand this money that we owe has to come from somewhere. One of the ways will be dramatically higher taxes. So how do you shield yourself from that, and how do you keep more money in your pocket going forward? Well, you need to understand that these people lie, numbers don't. You can see the net interest on our debt. Look at the spike that goes going forward. So if you're going to be retiring in these later years where taxes are going to be dramatically higher and you deferred your taxes to that environment, guess what? You're getting a big, big, big haircut. So understand what they're going to be facing and understand that's a problem, what solution it can offer them. Or one solution is putting themselves in a position where they have access to their money tax-free. Once again, if this is the net interest on the debt from 2016 and that explodes higher and it starts to bleed over into these other sections, what does the government have to do? They have to cut services. They have to increase taxes. You know, whether you're Republican, Independent, Democrat, we all should feel that we can spend our money better than the government can spend it, and we want to put as much into our client's pocket as possible. Also, you know, a lot of millennials, they're starting to grow up. They're starting to buy homes. They're starting to have kids. So one of the things that's new on the marketplace is living benefits. If you're talking to somebody who bought a life insurance policy 6 years ago and they were 58 at the time and now they're 64, well, the price increase is going to be, you know, it's going to be substantial there because that's, you know, getting older at that point in the life cycle puts a lot of pressure on the unit cost of insurance. Now, if someone bought a traditional life insurance policy at 35 and now you're trying to replace it at 43, unit cost of insurance is not going to creep up too much. So one of the things that we can get in front of them, if they've got a home that they're using life insurance to protect, do you only want to protect for death? You know, the possibility that they get sick, they get hurt throughout their life, pretty high. The risk is there. The risk that they die from a lot of these things is not as great as it used to be. So we need to explain to them there's better ways that you can protect whatever it is that you're doing. There's better, smarter financial moves that you can make right now that can benefit you instantly with little to no extra money out of your pocket. The transfer of traditional to living benefits is a big, big, big market, and we don't want to neglect the size of that, because a lot of people, if you've got a $20, $30, $40, $50,000 car and you owe money on that car, you're required to have full coverage. Now, if it's paid off, you can have liability, you can take that risk. Most people have their cars better insured than they do themselves. It's just about getting in front of people with the right message, not necessarily about life insurance, but what the life insurance can do for them. Remember, the end result is the business opportunity or product. On the front side, all you're doing is solving problems with you. It is a dramatically more streamlined, efficient, affordable approach when you look at this slide, critical cancer, disability, long-term care with a traditional product at different ages versus the all-inclusive coverage, one product, one debit, one monthly obligation. I mean, it's easy to see why somebody would want to take the streamlined approach, one product. They just don't know about it. So you've got to get out in front of people. And once again, if you lead with life insurance, the conversations are going to be very small, if at all. If you lead with messages, funnels, advertisements that talk about people and talk about problems and offer solutions, it's a better way to sell insurance. It's a better way to offer the business as well. And we talk about this all the time. I don't want to bring this up and spend too much time on this, but the amount of policies that need to be replaced from traditional to living benefits over the next 5-7 years is one of the biggest market opportunities that I've ever seen. We need to attack this aggressively, build marketing, talk to people, and once again, talking to people about the way that the product can solve a problem either now or potentially in the future, and that's how we want to market this. Another thing that I'll throw in is, like, if you're talking to somebody, whether it's a millennial or somebody else, and they bring up, you know, the differences in products, well, my grandfather told me to buy whole life, or somebody else told me to do this. The consultants, that's their job to help explain, differentiate products. So when you look at something, one of the main things that you want to understand as a consultant is, how does my client access their money? Well, in the IUL, for example, the Transamerica, if somebody needs a loan, for the first 10 years, they're going to pay 0.75%, 0.75. After year 10, it's interest-free loans. Now, in a whole life policy, typically, you remember, the whole life dividends are simply an overpayment of the premium. So it's your own money, but in many whole life policies, you're paying 5 to 8% if you're going to borrow your money as cash loan, or if you're going to use that cash to pay for premiums, they charge you to use your own money. So once again, how do I access my money? Why in the world would I want to pay 5 to 8% to borrow my own money when I can pay 0%? So how do I access my money? A big part of how we evaluate the products that we end up getting to our clients. This is the midpoint in the year, guys. You want to get serious about the year, the second half of the year, put the pedal to the metal. The next 36, 48, 60 months, whatever it might be, is one of the biggest opportunities in this business cycle this business will ever see. There's always going to be opportunity here, but the roots that you plant right now, when we hit that viral state, when we get exponential hyper growth, you've got the infrastructure to absorb that. You're in a great position to build distribution. No matter if you're talking to a potential partner or a potential client, it comes down to one question: what's your line? If things aren't going well in your life, you've got a choice. Are you going to draw a line in the sand, take an alternate route, or are you going to settle like everybody else? You're going to have to take a stand at some point and say, enough is enough. I'm going to start saving for retirement, or I'm going to start to build a business. I'm going to take control of my future. And that's really what this is all about. If you, on the client or the partner side, if they are okay with just letting life take them in whatever direction it takes them, you know, it's not really a good client, not really a good partner. The engagement process. Now, these are, I just kind of threw out some numbers out here, but if you find that your organization is building and 10% of the people come in and they're off the platform completely, off the platform completely, and 10% of the people are really all in, daily activity, doing whatever they can to build a business, and you're stuck with 80% of the rest in some type of different level of different types of activities, what you want to do over time and the way you want to envision your company is you want to squeeze the middle out. So you want to get more people falling out, but also more people committing to all in with less people stuck in the middle, you know, drifting in different directions. So squeeze the middle, push more people all out, push more people all in, because that all-in core group is what's going to lead you to nationwide distribution. And that is all we've got for today, guys. I hope you guys have a great 4th of July. Be safe. Anything that we can do to help you guys, by all means, let us know. If you have any questions right now, any comments, I'm going to turn it back over to Alana. If you're working, we're willing to work to help you guys out. Have a great 4th, guys. Thanks.
Fantastic. Another great training by Mike Amos. Thank you so much, Mike. Much appreciated. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and we'll open up the floor. Thank you so much.